Hello, welcome back. I got a question from a follower on Instagram the other day, and I thought I would come here and answer because it's going to be beneficial to a lot of you. The question was, Patty, how can I fix new vocabulary? And I believe what she meant was, I learn new words, but I don't remember those words. So how can I, in fact, remember them? Right. What we have to know is that there are stages in our learning in terms of vocabulary and learning new things, okay? What happens is you see something for the first time. Okay, this exists. You are probably not going to remember it. Probably not going to remember you saw it. Probably not going to remember the meaning of it. And then later on, and this could happen in the same week, this could happen a few months later or maybe even longer, depending on how much attention you're paying and how things are happening around you and how much exposure you have to English. But then you see it again. You either see it when you're reading or you hear it somewhere. And then you go, ooh, okay, I think I've seen this before maybe. And that's when you check it again, you check the meaning again, you familiarize yourself with that word all over again. But you're still not ready to use it. So what tends to happen with learners is that they expect to become familiar with a word. So, okay, this exists, lovely. And then being able to use it straight away. Okay, I know this exists, now I'm going to use it. And that's not the natural process for your brain. That's not what happens most of the time. What happens most of the time is you know it exists, you see it again, and then you remember, maybe I know this, and then you check the meaning again because you don't remember. And for a lot of people, this scenario of hearing it or seeing it and having to check again is going to occur consistently and repeatedly. And I am one of those people. A lot of the time, I become familiar with the new words and I have to notice it a few times and then check the meaning again before I'm even considering using this word. So when you say the word yourself or write the word yourself, this is the later stage of the learning, but it doesn't stop there. You have probably noticed that, after all of this, you finally use a word. You finally use that word that you have learned a while ago and that has in your head become part of your vocabulary. And you feel really good about this. But then you forget about the word all over again. You forget that it exists. It's not that you forget the meaning. I think when you use it, you know the meaning. You're okay most of the time. Generally speaking, you're okay. But you forget that you need that word because we have so many other ways to say the same thing, and we will find the most comfortable way to express ourselves, the way that our brain is most used to and most comfortable using, probably, you see. So using the word for the first time is brilliant, but it doesn't stop there. And that's where the frustration comes in, and that's why you feel that you can't fix it. That you can't memorize it, because then you need to make constant little bits of effort to use that word again until it has become part of your active vocabulary. This means that when you're speaking, you feel that you need that word. Knowing that word makes a difference in the way you speak, in how clear your message is. Unless you feel that, unless you feel the need for that word in your vocabulary, your brain will not be making an effort to learn it because you have so many other things to worry about when you're speaking a foreign language. I don't know if you guys know this, but to someone like me and you, speaking a foreign language is a lot of effort for your brain. It's not something that we do automatically and, our brain is totally relaxed doing it. It's not. It's in fact hard. It's a difficult task for your brain to speak a second or third or whatever, a foreign language, a language that is not your own, your first language, your mother tongue. It is an effort. So the process of language acquisition, of really knowing a lot of words, of really being able to use those words actively, is long and takes ages, which is why, if you think about it, when we see teachers and people selling the idea that you can learn English quickly and that you can master, this one really gets me, master English in 6 months. I'm like, I've been speaking for 20 years and I don't feel like I've mastered it. I don't think you'll master a foreign language, because there's always a tiny detail that makes you think, how did I not know this before? I mean, I've been speaking for 20 years. I'm going to give you an example, okay? When I read the question, how can I fix new vocabulary? It looked very unnatural to me, because I would not say fix vocabulary. It sounds weird to me. I would say memorize vocabulary, probably, you know. So I had to do my research to make sure the question was right, because I wanted to come here and correct it if it wasn't. And it was right. It's just not the way I say it, not the way I've heard it repeatedly around me, you know. So your brain thinks that a particular sentence, a particular structure is right because that's what you have heard the most. So you see what I mean? You're going to be like, Patricia, but it's so simple. Yeah, but I don't say it like that. I say it in a different way. And probably because I say it in a different way, I notice people saying it in the same way as me, you know. So this is what I mean about being flexible and wanting to get better. I checked a lot to make sure that that question was okay, although to me it feels a little bit unnatural. And now I know. So I could have just ignored it and just answered the question, but that's not how I learn. And the reason why I think my English has gotten this good, I've gotten to this level that I have today, is because I am not lazy with my learning. So I think memorizing vocabulary is very much about not being lazy and making that effort and being conscious about the strategy that you're having. So it's not just, I'm going to open my mouth and words are going to start flowing out of it like a river. No. You know, you are going to think about it for a fraction of a second before you choose to use that word. Are you paying attention to that fraction of a second where you actually have a choice? Because if you're not, then you're always going to be using the same old words repeatedly. So pay attention to that fraction of a second that gives you the chance to be in control, to be in charge of your learning, of your own improvement. Okay? All right. It's been lovely to be with you today. But answering the question, I spoke for ages and I forgot to answer the question. Remember that fixing vocabulary is about repetition. It's about repetition, which is why when you guys keep saying the wrong thing over and over again, you're not checking, you're not asking someone, you're not making sure you correct it, you just keep repeating the same mistakes over and over again, you learn that. That becomes your English because it's been repeated. You see what I mean? So you want to learn vocabulary and you heard that sentence somewhere with that word that you really want to learn. You repeat that word 1 billion times throughout the day. You write it down, the sentence, okay? You write down the sentence. Remember, you want to contextualize. You want that to be a part of something that is tangible to you, something that you feel you understand, something that you can hopefully even relate to. And then you write that down, that whole sentence down. You repeat that sentence over and over and over and over again. And the best way I feel as a learner to really memorize new vocabulary is to memorize it within one simple context, one sentence that you can repeat. Because then you start to feel confident using that word. And slowly you're going to be ready to be a little bit more adventurous to use that word in a different way. Yeah? I think this is it. And remember to give it time, because memorizing vocabulary is something that you need time to be able to do. So being frustrated because it's not happening in a week is unreasonable, because it's not going to happen in a week. Yeah? All right then. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you to the follower, who suggested this topic. See you all next week. Goodbye.